What's up from the country?
We are Chris and Amanda. My friends and family call me Mandi.
You sure?
I'm not sure. I couldn't remember my name for a second. But we just wanted
That's what I have to deal with.
to come on and introduce ourselves before we got into a complete podcast. Our friends have been asking us to do this for forever.
We have friends.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But
What's your name?
yeah, I'm not sure of that either.
All right.
But we wanted to just introduce ourselves before we got into this whole podcast thing. We want to make this podcast into something that we want to tell stories of our life, what we've been through as a couple, what we've been through as individuals. We want you to make you feel normal, because I feel like whenever people tell me a story and I'm like, oh, you went through that? Oh, that doesn't make me feel so crazy after all. So we want to, right? Okay.
I feel sorry for them.
Yeah. To listen to our stories.
If we're going to make them feel normal.
Yeah, because we're not normal. So yeah. But we've been married for how long?
Almost 21 years.
Almost 21 years. And we knew each other for 1 month before we got engaged. 5 months to the day of whenever we met, we got married. Yeah. We were older. Well, older.
Yeah, she was 25 and I was 31, so it ain't like we were
teenagers. But we were older for the South. Like, we're from originally the deep
ain't
South.
Worried about that.
But I mean, that's why I say older, because I mean, it's not
Again,
old.
We're not the norm.
No, we're
We
not
don't
the norm.
do things like everybody else.
But anyway, I was 25, he was 31. We were older than people in the deep South got married at the time anyway. So that's why I say that. But anyway, God drives us. We are Jesus followers, but we don't always do everything right.
No.
Yeah, our walk with God has not always been the best, because we were human and we're stupid sometimes. Yeah, we're real stupid. But we've been through a lot as a couple. We've had a lot of trauma. We've had a lot of crap happen, I guess. Sometimes we sit there and we wonder why. We have pity parties for ourselves. We're human. So we want to share these stories with you so you feel, again, normal. But whatever normal is. We've been through infertility, but now I do believe that God has a sense of humor. We went through, a lot of infertility. We both had some issues whenever we started trying to have kids, but now we have a 16-year-old daughter and twin 13-year-old boys. We were told we only had a 7% chance of ever having kids, and we would never, more than likely, have boys, but here we are.
Yeah, he just keeps laughing.
Yeah, he has a sense of humor for sure, because we suck at it a lot too. So like I said, we've been through trauma together in our marriage. We've had marriage troubles. We've had extended family drama. We've had finances are not always great, finance issues, you name it. We've been through a lot of it. We're not here for you to feel sorry for us. We're just here. We believe that God gives you a story and you should tell it. You should tell your testimony, because you want other people to feel hopeful, and that's what we want to do, is make everyone feel hopeful, that there is some hope. So yeah, but yeah, anything you want to add?
Hope.
We have some hope.
We a couple of years ago, we uprooted everything we knew as far as home life, and moved to Tennessee at the end of 22, right?
Yeah.
And lived in a camper for 2 years with all 3 kids, 2 dogs, and that was an experience. Would I advise anyone to do that? That's up to you, whether you can handle it or not.
It was some stressors.
It is very stressful at times, just because you don't have the room you need, the privacy you need, can't get away from each other. But, you know, we made it through.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look back and say, how?
And we had a bougie camper too.
Not at first.
Not at first. Now we started out with a smaller camper, but we ended
Yeah.
up with a bougie camper. And I mean,
Little camper for 9 months.
yeah, but you know,
Little.
it was still, yeah, it was challenging. But anyway, so yeah, we moved to Tennessee, uprooted our kids from everything that they knew, and came here. Was that moving to Tennessee the best decision for us? Absolutely. At the time, financially, spiritually, mentally, it was the best thing that we could have done. Has it been hard? Yeah. Every good thing is hard, I guess. So, and before we were married, we, you know, had identities individually too. I think as we've, you know, as parents, as whenever you're married to someone, you know, your identity kind of lies in that, you know, in some ways, but you should also have some individuality. I can't say that, but anyway, anyway, but yeah, so we did have, you know, individually, before we married, I was in the performing arts industry. I traveled, did different things, and of course, whenever I met him, those things, you know, weren't anymore, and it was the best thing that I could have done. And Chris, what did you do before me? You didn't have a life before me,
No,
did you?
I was a construction worker, and then I worked for a church as a worship leader.
Yes.
So I had a busy week.
Yeah.
All the time. I did construction to pay bills, because it wasn't a job I thought I wanted money for, because I ain't, well, I did it anyway, but
you had to make a living,
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
And-
man, we don't do any of that anymore.
Oh, neither one of us do
Hadn't
any
done
of that
that
anymore.
Quite a few years
For a
before
while.
we even moved. So it's just
All-
relearning yourself and relearning what you can do and can't do, and figuring out what you got to do. And
We'll tell more about
Yeah.
those stories too, but
A lot.
as the podcast goes on, but you know, we just have to, you know, if you're reinventing yourself, we want you to know, Nala. Sorry, Nala has to
Quiet.
bark at everything.
Quiet.
If you are reinventing yourself, just know, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you're reinventing yourself, you're not doing the same thing that you were doing whenever you were 20 or 30, that's okay, because we went through all of that too, and we feel like, you know, at first we felt like we were a failure and we were having to start all over. No. We are now entrepreneurs, and we do different things, and like we said, we'll go into that too, but a lot of ups and downs. Now our life is not perfect. It never has been. We don't even act like it's perfect, because it's not. We've been through ups and downs, like we said, been through traumas, been through troubles, but we wanted to do this podcast because we wanted, like we said at the beginning, everyone to realize that, you know, everyone goes through these things, and we all need to talk about these kind of things, down to marriage issues, you know, parenting, career choices, extended family, because I know that there's a lot of people who have extended family issues, traumas from childhood, you know, things like that. It gets brought into marriage. And whenever you get married, it's like we all have some baggage, and then you put your baggage together, and sometimes it doesn't intermingle very well.
No.
And so we've had to learn how to survive through the chaos.
Yep.
Basically. And now that we're doing the things, we're learning the tools to help us move forward. And we still struggle with doing the right thing by our kids, by each other, by God, but we take it day by day and have grace for each other. And we say a lot of I'm sorries. When you say a lot of I'm sorries.
Every day.
We aren't perfect. We fight. We're stubborn. Our friends know just a little story. When we were, do you remember whenever we were at Disney World and our two friends were with us in an Uber?
Yes.
Yes.
You never let me forget it.
Yeah. And we were just back and forth. And I told one of my friends, I was like, I'm so sorry, and we should have never done that in front of you. And she looked at me and she said, you're normal. Like, that's life. Would y'all stop saying you're sorry and stop,
That's what I told her.
But, oh, so now you're right?
No, I didn't never say I was right. I just said, they don't care. They're our friends.
But, that's the thing. We should all be talking about these things, and now they're still our friends, and whenever we start that bickering back and forth, they just kind of walk off because they know that we're going to be fine. It's just life. We're normal. We're stubborn. Both of us are very stubborn, and that's where a lot of our fights come from. We're real. We tell truths and facts. It may be our truths, but they are truth, and we tell the facts. We love big. We love hard. We do not do fake very well at all. We are the same no matter what setting you see us in, whether you see us at church, at a bar, at the grocery store. What you see is what you get. That's just us. So yeah, but that's why we want to show y'all that what real is. Like he said at the beginning, we're not normal. I don't know what normal is anymore. Nobody knows what normal is anymore, but we're just here to help in God, or just to help you feel like you're not alone. And yeah. So as we move forward with this, each week we will tell some stories, and this ought to get pretty fun. So hopefully that tells you a little bit about us. We would love to hear from you. You're always welcome to tell our friends if they made a mistake by telling us that we should do a podcast, or tell them that it's the greatest thing ever, because they love being told that they're right. So anyway, tell your mama and them we said hello, and we will see you next time.